This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and happy May 4th. I really love Star Wars Day. Star Wars is my favorite fictional franchise, and since it's my favorite fictional franchise, I'm going to talk about my favorite TV show, which is Star Wars The Clone Wars. I know there's many people who are thinking that either this is a good show but not worthy of being your favorite, or they're saying it was just some dumb kid show. And to the first people, I'd say that this is a worthy show to be my favorite. And to the people who think it's just a kid's show, it's not. And I just really love this show. And this is the entire reason for this video. I just have to talk about how much I just love this series, how I grew up with it, and so much more. So that's basically what this video is going to be about. I might have another video that comes out later. There will be an edit of some, scenes in Star Wars to make a cool little video. But I don't know if I'm gonna have time for that. We'll see, and I hope I can make it. But if I can't, then I at least have one great video for May the 4th. So let's just go right into this. And as I briefly mentioned before, I grew up watching this show. I just remember coming home every night that an episode would premiere and just being excited to watch it. I remember just watching so many episodes of Clone Wars and just having a truly great time. I saw all of them either the day that it came out or the next morning, depending on what I was doing at the time. And Clone Wars is the first show that I ever watched from the beginning until the end, watching it basically when the episodes came out. Yeah, it has a really special place in my heart. That's not the only reason that I truly love this show. I was brought in by the movie, which, although many do not like this movie, personally I really do enjoy it for what it is, and I rank it at a decent spot, and it's a lot higher than many others would. But this show and the movie itself is just truly amazing, and that is why I have a full-on series just recapping and reviewing each of the episodes and looking at really everything we have of Star Wars shows. Sure, The Mandalorian is really good, and people definitely can have their arguments against Bad Batch and Book of Boba Fett. Many people would say The Mandalorian could be the best Star Wars show, but to me, it's always been Clone Wars. And just looking at Star Wars shows, even if you don't say it's your favorite show ever, I think that Clone Wars is the best one because it has so many different storylines, and it's very unique being anthology style. Although many people don't enjoy that as much and love just narrative based stories where it's following one group of characters. I really like it because we get to see so much about this era. We get to see what the clones are doing, we get to see what the Jedi are doing. We sometimes really see the Senators or the Mandalorians or just some of the people of the galaxy, what's going on. We get to see so many aspects of the galaxy, and it just makes it feel truly lived in. Sure, this leads us to a few dud episodes, but the duds mainly are about other characters and ones that you may not like as much because there is some Jar Jar episodes that, although are more bearable than the prequel movies, especially Phantom Menace, Jar Jar is still Jar Jar, and although that is limited, it's gets pretty annoying at points with him, and looking at just some of the other stuff, we get some ones that aren't great with some major characters, but I'd say more often than not, when focusing on major characters, we get amazing arcs, and sometimes just episodes. What I think really benefited them is around the midpoint of season 3, they stopped doing individual episodes besides one that was in season 4 or 5. It's the one with the Mandalorians and Lex. But besides that, these episodes are all connected to either a previous episode or, even to other ones. The Lex one is connected to other episodes, but and the whole it's a storyline that's self-contained that doesn't really have an episode that fully connects to it, although it sort of is a bridge between a few different episodes. And I just really love this development. We get so many great characters through the Clone Wars. Not only do we get the big ones like Rex, Ahsoka, we have great development for Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Padme. We also get some great appearances just from other characters. We get Fives, Echo, we have Heavy, and there's so many other clone troopers that I can't even list them all. We get to see characters like Cody, we get to see Plo Koon, Kit Fisto, and so many more Jedi who had pretty minor roles in the movies that get a lot more fleshed out, and we get to see a lot more of them. And that's just another thing I love is just we get an expansion of the world. The one thing that, although it's more coincidental, is I had to love the tie-ins, some of the tie-ins they had to the original trilogy, mainly original trilogy characters coming into it. Because although I know people do love the episode, I personally just don't love the episode where Ahsoka gets captured. I don't know what it is, I just never loved that episode. And looking at some other storylines, you could go to the one with Akbar, and the Mon Calamari storyline is another one that I just personally don't love. Although I think that one is not as popular as the Ahsoka being captured one with the Wookiee, with Chewbacca and the other Jedi younglings. So looking at this, it's a really amazing show, and it produces a great episode more often than a bad episode. And I just love the character development it gives to characters and how it humanizes the clones and how it makes things so much more complex about the war. And it just shows how Palpatine was so brilliant manipulating this war and having two sides. And honestly, there were some times that it's just so crazy what the stuff the Separatists is doing, and you just have to think that Palpatine is purposely sabotaging this because he can't have the Separatists win this war. It's a complete sham, and I just really enjoy that because you have stuff like the Malevolence and everything, and conveniently, even though Palpatine's saying not to go, Anakin is able to discover the ship and destroy it, which pushes them major Republic victory. There are other things like the attack on Kamino, which is conveniently leaked in the audio too. And if you think of it, in this war, the Separatists would have done so much better if they weren't being controlled by Palpatine. But one of the things I love about Palpatine specifically is he never really, besides in like a few scenes, breaks the performance he is playing, and in those scenes, it's usually they're very subtle, or it's because he's by himself with people that know who he is. And the few things I could think of is one where Palpatine says this war comes closer and closer to the end, as we kind of get like an ominous look at his face. And the only major one where he basically having confirmed him and Sidious are the same, outside of him executing Order 66, is when he goes to deal with them all. And I really love that. It just keeps up the illusion that Palpatine is just this really nice guy and a great leader. And even though there are just little hints of it, another major episode I can think of having the hints of who he truly is in the Zillo Beast. But I just love the way they're able to put up Palpatine, putting up the front and the false perception, so everyone thinks that he's this great guy when he's secretly the evil Sith Lord. And that is just something I love so much because when you watch this, it feels like, besides those very few scenes that I mentioned, that Palpatine and Darth Sidious are two completely different characters, and it's a very impressive thing to do, especially as a character in universe, since you have to play this ruse at all times and make sure you don't slip up. The performance I just really have to give a big congratulations to is Dee Bradley Baker, who plays all of the clone troopers in this. He does such a great job. Is able to bring a different, unique personality to each of them. And even if he's just, voicing a generic clone, he still has a great time and a great performance, and even feels like the clones are just done even just a little differently, even if it is the unnamed clone trooper. But with this, I just really love this series. You get some great development and building on the relationships of Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin and Padme, and just so many other characters. And if you're wondering why I just love this show as my favorite show, and it's just not my favorite Star Wars show, and I'd say part of that is probably the nostalgia I have of the show. I just have always loved this show. It's always been my favorite, and there were times that I would say other shows, but in my heart it was always Clone Wars. And yeah, that's just something I truly love. The most tragic part of me being a Star Wars fan is that era where they took Clone Wars off of Netflix, but didn't have Disney Plus yet set up yet, so I was just waiting to be able to rewatch the Clone Wars. I think I had the first three seasons on DVD, but the discs are kind of scratched up and I haven't watched them in years, so I'm not even sure if they work still. But yeah, this is just my favorite TV show. I really love everything in it. And even though there are some low points, I'm so willing to look past them because of how great it is. We have some amazing arcs. Umbara, you have Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order, and there are so many more that are great that happened even before the final two seasons, which both were miracles to get. The first one dropped on Netflix, and I was totally in love when I got to watch those episodes, seeing new episodes of my favorite show. And then I was just so overjoyed the day that we had the new season announced with the final season to go everything. I remember that I was out, I believe, at a museum and I just saw the news, and that made me more excited than anything that was at that museum because I was just so excited to see the return of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and it was just such a great moment to watch that trailer as we see the announcement that the Clone Wars is returning and the Clone Wars has been saved. I love that this has all been moved to the Bad Batch to continue on. Yeah, honestly, I don't even know what else I could just say about the Clone Wars. I truly love this show. I think that Dave Filoni and his crew did such a great job with the help of George Lucas and even the people at Disney. This is just such an amazing show. We get so many great storylines, and this is just my basic overview of the show. I found over each individual episode up to about the end of the first year of the war. And looking at it, I have such a fun time looking at this because it is so interesting to see everything going on with the Clone Wars. And I also love the books at the year. I love the stories of Thrawn alliances. There's also Dark Disciple and Son of Dathomir, of those two both being adapted from storylines that were cut. I have watched the Crystal Crisis on Utapau, although I don't know if you can find it anymore. It's been basically hidden on YouTube and is always being taken down by Disney, and they don't give you a way to watch it, which is a really annoying thing to do and basically ruining the experience since they don't have it on StarWars.com anymore, and they also don't have it, will let anyone have it on the thing. So one thing I do hope is that they finish the animating of these episodes since they haven't fully recorded and have had the basic animations done. I just hope they could finish the animation and put it into the TV show Tales of the Jedi and do that for some of the other arcs that they partially recorded but didn't fully finish. Something like Crystal Crisis and Utapau will be truly amazing to see. Yeah, I want to know what you think about the Clone Wars. Do you like the show? Do you not like the show? Or have you never seen the show? Because I 100% recommend it. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.